So this is the 10.1 joying unit. On the websites, they call it the newest 10.1 Android unit. And then my truck is a 2015 Tacoma non-JBL. So how I ended up on this unit was I was looking for something that kind of looked OEM. Functionality wise, all I needed to do was CarPlay. I could care less if the unit did anything else besides open up and do CarPlay. Wanted something plug and play. This kind of seemed to check all the boxes, so went ahead and pulled the trigger. And overall, really good unit. Some quirks for sure, but I'll show you how to install it. I'll kind of go over some of those quirks and how I got around, and then kind of show you realistically what it looks like, kind of starting this up and what you can expect. So out of the box, if you're like me, you're kind of going to be a little overwhelmed because there's a lot of kind of wires in a box. There's, you know, some extra wires, and again, I'm looking for plug and play, so a lot of this was a little concerning. But you do have to remember, this unit is kind of generic, and then the surround is kind of what's vehicle specific. So in the box, you have two 4G antennas, a GPS antenna, microphone. I got the reverse camera package, which I don't know if I need to get. It came with a physical reverse camera, but obviously my truck already has that camera, so I ended up not using that. But you will see, obviously, I already have the unit installed. There's a lot of tutorials out there already showing you how to remove your OEM unit, so I'm not going to get into that. But I think I guess the first issue I had when I was installing this is there's a lot of extra wires, even like from your truck, that don't get used, which feels weird. And you'll see I kind of try to put foam on them, but it's already coming off, so thought it was just to kind of stop them from rattling around there, but probably just gonna find a bunch of foam everywhere, whatever. Kind of the other issue I had installing was, you'll see there's a plug that says camera in and then camera, but then there's another wire somewhere around here that also says camera. So only one of them is going to work with your OEM backup camera. So I would say just try one, power on your truck, throw it in reverse and see if it works. And if not, just try the other one. And that's kind of how I got mine to work. So you can see camera. I'm guessing it's for front and rear if you want to add a front. Yeah, extra wires, don't know. So see, I did not install the 4G antennas or the GPS or the exterior mic. I'm always going to use CarPlay, so I don't need the GPS or the 4G, and I hate the look of an external mic, so I'm still going to try to figure out how to use the stock location. Still trying to figure that out, but I just don't want to have an external mic somewhere in my truck. If you do, go ahead, do your thing. Another thing to note is when you're taking apart your stock unit, you do need these yellow and white clips, because that's what's going to hold in this new unit. The brackets are gone. So I would love to figure out how to kind of retain those brackets, but you'll see it's in there pretty well, and it just feels wrong not having those brackets, because it's literally just using these clips to stay in. So once you have it all plugged in, I would say just kind of cycle on your power, make sure it's working before you put it back in. But then I'll put this back in, and then I'll walk you through startup and just some kind of quirks, and then kind of show you what this looks like daily use. Cool, so let's go ahead. All right, so you can see I have the unit installed now, and just with the clips, no brackets, it's in there pretty dang solid. Like, that's not going anywhere. And you have to remember, like, this is me just kind of pulling on it, but once it's in the truck and everything's moving together, and with the controls back in there, it's really a solid fit. So again, I hate that the brackets are gone, but it seems to work fine. So let me show you what it's like to actually turn on the unit. It gets me to my first quirk, is it just seems to choose a random app to start up on default. Like, this is not the default home screen. Some people have it open up to YouTube. For some reason mine shows equalizer. Again, all I wanted this unit to do was do CarPlay. So I actually have the option turned on that CarPlay starts automatically. So what I'll do to get around this is on my steering wheel, which again, all my steering controls worked right out of the box. So that's really nice. And all I did was press back, and that brought me to CarPlay. So I get in, start the truck, press back, and then I'm on CarPlay. So it's easy enough. But again, this is a home screen. No idea why it just goes to equalizer, but that's what it is. Another quirk, when you first start this, you'll see this floating circle. That's your touch assist. No idea why it's default, but this is how you turn it off, because otherwise it's just kind of floating around. Which actually, I accidentally did that, but this is another good thing to point out. All you need to do is swipe up to get these buttons, so volume up and down, flip the screen, doesn't even work, so I don't know why it's there. Back, home, so that's kind of nice. I'll show you the backup camera. So I actually have my backup camera set, and it's a setting to stop music when it goes in reverse. So as you can see, it comes preloaded with these songs. I'm sure it's super legal, but see, now I'm in reverse camera on, music stopped, popped out reverse, music back on. So it's quite nice. And then your CarPlay is here, CarLink 2.0. So when you first set up CarPlay, mine's going to go right into the actual CarPlay, but yours will probably have a loading screen. And once at the loading screen, you'll see a little settings button up here. Click on that. I choose the autoplay option, which lets it start when you start your truck. It'll automatically start the CarPlay, and then there's also a frame rate option there. I don't know how to get to the settings if I'm not just on the start screen, so you'll see it. You're not gonna see it with mine. Turn the frame rate up, because I noticed right out of the box this was kind of a little slow. The map, you kind of just saw it was a little slower than you're used to with your iPhone or whatever. So just turn the frame rate up, and now it's kind of works perfectly. And you'll see the CarPlay is a little bit slower than the native app. Like you can see, this is like super quick compared to the CarPlay. But overall, I mean, this is really all I needed, and works great. I found the customer service to be really helpful. I've had issues. So I guess that's another thing. For some reason, when I was installing this, just the touchscreen didn't work. I installed it, touchscreen worked, messed with it, touchscreen stopped working, unplugged it and plugged it back in a couple times, and it's been working ever since. One day the reverse camera just stopped working. It would kind of give me that beep that I'm in reverse, but the screen just wouldn't do anything. And again, what I did was I just unplugged it and plugged it back in, and it's been working perfectly. I've kind of noticed the less that I mess with it, the better it functions. So I'm kind of at the point where it's just working, so I'm not messing with it. It does have this cool functionality here. You can change the color tone, brightness, which I have automatically kind of changing with the time. You can see even in CarPlay you do have that option for his buttons. So I know a lot of people have, they miss the knob for the volume. It's right here, but I just use steering wheel volume. So that's kind of it. I think, let me show you, like, realistically, like when I get in my truck, I have to back up. So turn on my truck, I'm throwing in reverse, in the reverse camera, get out of reverse. I hit back on my steering wheel. Wait, you can see here, so that was the settings button right there. And then I'm in CarPlay. So honestly, I don't know what else you could really ask for. For $400, definitely has its quirks, but the company really seems to be pretty good about trying to solve any issues that you have. So let me know if you have any questions, or if I missed anything. I don't really do YouTube videos, so apologize if this was a little less polished than it could be. But I just want to go over some quirks and some things I thought might be helpful when I first got this unit. So cool. Let me know what you think. Thanks.